Today we're going to share research in the environment
You ready? Okay. As an environmental chemical engineer, what are you doing specifically to benefit the environment?
And by the way, I'm Grace Sarver's dad, Darren Sarver, just introduced myself. So I work at Boeing Company, and I am a chemical engineer. We use chemicals to put on corrosion finishes on airplane parts, and so we use a lot of hazardous materials and water. And so a lot of what I do is try to use materials that are more environmentally friendly. Some materials we're focused on in particular are chrome, trying to get chrome out of our processes. So we work a lot on that, and then also trying to reduce water consumption. So we use a lot of water in these processes, and so we have different types of recycling techniques and reuse techniques where we try to capture water and use it a second time in our chemical tanks.
And then also, as a Blowing Point employee, what is Boeing doing to help the environment right now? Or what does it have it done?
So Boeing's got a lot going on. They've been working a lot, and some of Boeing's biggest priorities, perhaps the biggest, is the reduction of carbon emissions. And so obviously airplanes burn oil-based fuels and generate a lot of CO2. And so that's a big concern. And so what Boeing's really promoting right now is use of more fuel-efficient engines, and that's done through new airplane product designs. We're trying to use composite airplanes, so they're lighter, and so you get much better fuel efficiency there as well. And then thirdly, we're trying to promote use of biofuels. And so we're trying to use fuels that can be regenerated, grown, and also absorb carbon as you create them. And so it's a really big reduction there as well. And so biofuels are really large. We're also trying to reduce energy consumption, electricity. And so they're doing a lot more around getting power from wind farms, from electric power, from dams. That's really particularly beneficial in Washington State. And we have a large facility in South Carolina where we're using solar power as much as possible. So a lot around energy consumption and biofuels.
Perfect. Okay, and then what is Boeing trying to do right now to help change global warming and what's happening in the environment right now?
So some of the things now and going forward, one of the biggest opportunities we're looking at is electric engines. And so they don't exist today, and for an airplane, the technology doesn't exist, and so Boeing's put in a lot of effort into trying to create the technology to create an electric engine for an airplane. And the second one, which I touched on a little bit, is biofuels. Right now there's not a market for biofuels, and so Boeing is working globally to try to create a market to bring in biofuels and use them to power airplanes.
So you shared some really great ideas that's Boeing doing, but I would like to know like how me or my peers or my classmates can help the environment.
So one thing everyone can do is, recycle, reuse things as much as possible. Put things in your clean green, put cardboard, plastic, paper in recyclables, but just keep in mind one thing there is when you recycle material, be really careful about what you put in, because a lot of material, if you put in stuff not recyclable, it actually contaminates the whole batch, and so then nothing can be recycled. So just be extra cautious too on what you recycle to make sure that it's effective and efficient.
Sweet. Alrighty, well, thanks for talking with us.
You get a high five.
All right.